Good evening. The West Midlands has become one of the worst areas in the country for having the most empty shops. New figures show that each year more and more vacant buildings are popping up on our high streets.
The local data company's research shows that Dudley has the highest percentage of vacant stores among all medium-sized town centres in Britain. And when it comes to the larger town centres, Walsall ranks the second worst in the country. Kate Fisher reports.
Boarded up, empty and up for rent. It's a familiar sight on high streets across the West Midlands, but according to new figures, the problem is worst in Dudley.
Every time we come up, there's another shop closed down, and it's getting worse up here.
I mean, if they do open new shops, it's normally like pound shops, things like that.
It's terrible.
The vacancy rate in the West Midlands has gone up by 1% in the last year to 18.9%. But here in Dudley, the situation is much worse, with more than 30% of shops standing vacant. That means there are more than 100 empty shops. In town centres that are bigger, with more than 400 shops, Walsall has the second highest number of vacant stores in the country at 29.6%. But Dudley Council says the figures are flawed.
We've looked at our own sort of surveys done here. The high street has about 15% vacancy, and the figures which have been published talk about 34%, so we don't know the methodology that has been used. And as you can see, the town is quite busy with people, and according to the figures, every third shop should be closed. But if you look up and down here, shops are open.
Well, I always enjoyed coming to Dudley. It's a local place as well. I know it's Merry Hill, it's free parking and everything, but I enjoy coming here.
Dudley used to be a lovely town until Merry Hill opened and completely destroyed it.
Would you rather come out to Dudley or would you rather be taken to Merry Hill? Or
Merry Hill.
And why is that?
Better shops.
This is what the town's up against, but it's battling back by investing millions of pounds in regeneration projects.
Here in Dudley we have some fantastic heritage assets. We have the castle, we have the recently reopened chairlift at the zoo, we have the Living Museum, so it's a really attractive visitor destination, as well as a new college here in the centre of Dudley. So we have to make best use of those assets. So it's not just about retail, it's about looking at the wider proposition and creating attractive town centres.
So as the town looks to the future, it's hoping that these empty shops will soon be part of the past. Kate Fisher in Dudley for Central Tonight.
Well, we're joined now by Professor Joshua Bamfield from the Centre for Retail Research based in Nottingham. Professor, why are so many shops still being left vacant?
The problem is that we've had 4 years of reduced consumer spending, and there seems to be no let-up. So quite a lot of retailers that have been just about struggling are now drowning, and that's the reason why they're not holding on to shops and why new retailers aren't setting up shops.
Do you think perhaps we should replace the empty shops with new shops? And if so, what type? Because surely customer demand is still a big problem.
Customer demand is still a big problem, but of course it takes some time to revamp retail square footage. I think we need to do two things. One is that there are too many shops, and what we need to do is to sort of bring shops together so that, let's say, we're doubling the size of shops and putting new IT, new communications in with them. And in addition, perhaps get rid of some of the weaker and the poorer shops and the poorer shopping centres as well. So something radical needs to be done, because obviously we can't carry on like this.
And what about the actual leases as well? Because many of the business owners are on long contracts. Do you think those contracts need to be made more attractive?
I think the problem is that too many retailers took up leases 5 or 6 years ago. They paid top whack, and really they can only afford to pay about half that. So there's got to be blood on the carpet, but probably property owners have got to accept lower rents, and retailers have got to, if you like, provide some sort of some evidence that they want to continue trading from that area.
Professor Bamfield, thank you very much for joining us.